Hey people, Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and in this case it's gonna be a 2023 EDC update. This is something that was requested in a question, in a comment this weekend during the live stream. Remember, I'm doing live streams on Sundays, 3 p.m. Eastern time, so if you wanna catch up with those, more than welcome, always appreciated. So what is it that I go about in terms of EDC? Same as always. It's always been pretty much the same basics over the years for me, mostly because it's what works well. So once you realize what works well for you, you make little changes here and there, but you stick to the things that you've learned to appreciate, especially as time goes by. So the way I go about EDC, as you guys know, is layers. What is it that I have in terms of my first layer? Well, usually that's going to be in terms of keychains. What is it that you have in your house keys, in your car keys? At the very least, I want to have a little multi-tool of some sort, like this Victorinox mini champ. In my car keys, I have a manager. Both of those are excellent, and a little flashlight. Just having these two things, and yeah, I have a little peanut lighter, but to be honest, over the years, the things I've learned that become the most useful are these two: a flashlight and a little pocket knife, a little keychain knife. If you just have these two, you already have the tools to deal with some of the more common little emergencies, or a little bit more serious, but these are the ones that you're likely to have with you if you don't have anything else. Why? Because if you're leaving your house, you will have at the very least your keys to go back inside. If you're going anywhere, you will have your car keys so as to drive there. So if you make sure that in your first layer, whatever it is that you have, even if you're butt naked, at the very least, you'll have your keychain with those essentials. As we progress into the next layer, let's suppose that we're fortunate enough to not find ourselves butt naked, then we have some kind of pants and clothing. Well, in that case is where pocket EDC comes into place. The way I go about this is even the kind of clothes, and this is something that I explain in Street Survival Skills, my book about practical survival skills. Well, here I explain that you start adapting even the kind of socks that you wear, even the kind of footwear that you wear. What is it that you're going with? Something that is versatile, something that's practical, something that gives you the most capabilities giving on the choice you made. That goes even to your underwear. Do you have underwear that is comfortable, or did you just buy the cheapest crap in a store and you're just rolling with that? Well, there's some things that are more comfortable than others. That goes for clothing, that goes for footwear, that goes for every little choice you make. You want to maximize how useful, how versatile all of that is. So in terms of pants, I usually wear jeans. At a time, I use lots of these 511 tactical pants. Yeah, you go through phases. Sometimes you're feeling like using those more. I do use quite a bit of the 511 tactical shorts. Those look like normal cargo shorts, and they have nice pockets for a lot of stuff. So if I'm wearing pants, I will have a knife. I'm having my multi-tool with me. In terms of knife, over the years, different ones. Lately, it's this one, the CRKT. This is a nice, solid folder, very strong. It has a tanto tip. It has a secured locking mechanism with this pretty sturdy, and it has this hook so as to cut your seatbelt, and a glass breaker. Nice. I think this is one of maybe one of the better options in terms of a versatile survival tool in terms of what you have as a pocket knife. Can you use it for defense? Yeah, sure you can. I mean, this is still a sharp blade and is sturdy and big enough, but it could work in a number of other scenarios where you need a tool such as this one. One of the things I never want to be without is a multi-tool. A lot of people apparently don't think it's that big of a deal. For me, this is essential. If I have anything at all in my pockets, it's going to be my multi-tool. In this case, it's the newest one that I got, Leatherman Charge Plus. For many years, I went with the Charge TTI. Wave will be just as good. You have your blades serrated, straight. You have a bunch of tools. You have your diamond coated file. You have your pliers. I mean, this is it for me. If I have just one tool, I will go with a multi-tool. It has the blade that I already have there, and yeah, 2 is 1. Sure, 3 is 2, 2 is 1. Yeah, I have 3 knives. Actually, I have 4 blades between all of these. So that's something that goes in my pocket. In my pocket, I will also have a flashlight. Lately, I'm using this one, right? Little flashlight that I showed in a previous video, very compact, USB Type-C charging, very powerful, like 800 lumens, it's nuts. And it has a bunch of different modes there on the side, which are also nice and quite, could be very useful in a number of situations. So yeah, this is something that you want to have, flashlight of some sort. Now, I also have, this is something I usually have in my 511 Tech Light shorts in the front pocket for the magazine. Yeah, I have, hand sanitizers just to keep your hands clean. If you're carrying, which I suggest you do, if you have that option, instead of having this, you will have your spare magazine in that little pocket most likely. And yeah, depending on what is legal for you or not, you adapt. Let's say you're living in UK where you cannot have those two with you at all times. You will instead go with like a typical Swiss Army knife, like the little red one that doesn't lock and has an under 3-inch blade. Adapt to your legal needs. Now, well, I also will have my wallet, cell phone, typical stuff in terms of watch. This is the one I'm using today, Seiko Black Monster mechanic. Well, it's actually an automatic watch, which is all mechanically internal, no batteries, which has, for the people that freak out over EMP, yeah, this will not be knocked down during an EMP. Really one of the last of my concerns, but there you go. And yes, glasses, these are Polaroid. These are nice. I've been liking these quite a bit. These are polarized and you have a nice clear view. Now, if you're extending this a little bit more, you will have maybe an EDC bag with you. Now, someone this weekend was telling me that they have a 25 or 27 kilogram EDC bag. That is like 50 pounds of EDC bag. That is insane. No normal person should walk around all day long with 50 pounds in their bag. I mean, sure, you can do it at times, but honestly, for an EDC bag as something that's with you at all times, I don't see it. I mean, even in my case where I don't really walk all day long with an EDC bag, for me, mostly the pocket EDC stuff covers the basics that I want, but every once in a while, if I want to have like a daily carry bag for if I'm doing a little trip or going visiting somewhere, yeah, this is lately the one I use. And usually I like the small satchels or stuff like this. This is from Microtech, which is a decent brand, solid yet affordable. Usually the higher end ones would be made by Maxpedition, but that slinger model is basically a small pack. Again, keep it small, lightweight, and versatile. You don't need a huge pack full of crap that you probably don't need anyway, okay? Now, if you will have a bag with you, my advice is focus on a couple things. First of all, if I have a backpack with me, I will have a bottle of water. You can have one of the more plastic, store-bought. If you have a metal one, even better. These are reusable, of course. And if it comes down to it in a more end-of-the-world scenario, yes, you could boil water. This is metal. You can cook in this bottle as well. It's quite large in terms of, yeah, maybe you will need a longer spoon, but you could get by, maybe cook pasta or something in this thing. And being stainless, yeah, it will hold on quite nicely. If you are going to, again, it will depend mostly on your specific needs. I mean, you could throw a Glock knife in there and it's really not going to be adding too much to the weight. And you have a nice, decent blade or any other knife that is not too huge would fit in that bag without a problem. One of the other things I will have, if I have my EDC bag with me, a battery pack. One of these battery banks things, keep in mind, the most powerful, useful tool that you have with you at all times is your cell phone. The ability to connect with the world, get information, GPS, maps, go online and talk with pretty much anyone on the planet at all times. It is insane, but it only works if you have, a charged phone, which it's often the case that people don't, especially when you're, doing a little bit of sightseeing or traveling. You go through a battery of your phone a little bit faster than expected. Those things may end up happening. So this, very important. 10,000 milliampere, give or take 20,000, whatever. Find something that works for you. Now, if I have my EDC bag, I will go for a little bit of an extended first aid kit. This isn't massive or anything, just one of the small boo-boo things with a little bit of plaster. I will have a tourniquet in here just in case. Yes, you can improvise tourniquets, even better if you actually have one. You just never know when something goes wrong. A quick clot, so as to stop bleedings where a tourniquet will not work, and a little bit of tape and some of this stuff, especially with my son competing now in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He got one of his fingers hurt, and this actually came in handy. Just patch him up and get him back in there. And for all of these things where maybe a little plaster is not solid enough and you need something a little bit stronger, you can do quite a bit of that with some good tape and just to reinforce it. But basically some little first aid kit of some kind. Disposable tissues, yes, makes a lot of sense. Sunglasses, as I said before. What else is that they have in here? Well, I will have a spare flashlight, especially that there's something like this, a zebra light, which also works as a headlamp. So yeah, flashlights is something that you can definitely use to have, especially if you have an EDC bag. Making, throwing another one besides the one that you have in your pocket makes perfect sense. Hand sanitizer, so as to keep your hands clean. I will have, a little notepad. This is homemade. It's just a few pages, folding those and a couple clips, and a pencil so as to take notes, write stuff down. I will have a mask FFP3, and for those of you that have been with me for a long time, you know that this is pre-COVID. I've always understood that the ability to breathe, especially when there's dust, debris, smoke, anything that is compromising your ability to breathe, you want to have some kind of mask, something that filters whatever crap is going on in the air. These days, it will also depend on where you are. Some countries have still certain restrictions, especially when going on an airplane or traveling or something. So that may be something you want to take care of as well. But at least for me, given the weight, how compact this is, a couple of these make perfect sense. Not because of whatever anyone is trying to impose and all that bullshit, the political stuff. No, I'm talking about the practical stuff of having something that allows you to breathe if things are not going all that well. I will have these, what is it like? Yeah, ear plugs. Well, the headphones, but with wires. Why wire? Because the wire in my phone works as an antenna for the incorporated FM radio. I make sure that my phone has an independent FM radio. Not all phones have it, and especially in the United States, that is even more so the case, that they block it so as to force you to use data from your phone company. That is, pretty nasty. It sucks, but if you can work around that, most phones do have a chip that should be able to go into FM radio, like your old little typical radio. I have these headphones as well that are wireless, and these go with my little tablet. One of the things I like having, especially if I have a bit of an EDC bag thing going on, for this one I use a tablet. Traveling, I noticed that sometimes your phone is a little bit too small and you want something that's more comfortable, but most of all, the tablet for me has been something great for navigation, using that map. Even if you're using the incorporated GPS and not having data access, just using the built-in GPS and the right app, you can move around quite decently, and it's super useful. And besides, of course, if you have some downtime, you can watch a TV series or a movie or something like that. And if you have access to Wi-Fi, just use it as a normal tablet and go online and send emails or whatever it is that you need to do. So somewhat of a little computer in your pocket, a little bit of a bigger computer with a bigger screen in your EDC bag. That's kind of the way I'm thinking. And I like that I can charge pretty much all of these with this same little cable, so it keeps things nice and simple. So basically that's it, guys. That's my approach for 2023 in terms of EDC. As you see, not a whole lot changing. I stick to the basics that have been working well for me over the years. And again, if you're interested in this sort of stuff, 3 Survival Skills is where I discuss and explain a lot of the uses of everyday carry, EDC, and a bunch of other important stuff that you probably want to learn about. And of course, giving everything going on, you don't want to go without Surviving the Economic Collapse. This is a book you definitely want to get, given what we're looking at in 2023. See you on the next video. Share, like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. See you next time.